Greetings everyone, Zannrath here. Welcome back to Everlasting Summer. And last time, we were getting ready to get to start on this trail, this hike through the forest. And let's see what's going to happen now. I still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be difficult to get lost here, even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depths of the forest, trying to face all the dangers that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead we were just walking around in circles. That's a great hike. However, if we take into account that Olga Dmitrievna was our chief, this hike would be compared to a hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. Just as Xenia insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. This is a perfect setup for me getting lost somehow. It's like something's gonna jump out, everyone's gonna freak and run off, and I'm gonna be left behind. Because for some reason I'm also in the back of the line too, and I'm also following at a distance because Xenia doesn't like me. The librarians seem to be perfectly okay with it. Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination? Our what? The place where we'll settle down and set up camp? The whole point of this hike isn't to set up camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it. Yeah, it seems I didn't get it, or I didn't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still, I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, "Listen, why are you so..." I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so what? Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? Oh, cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga Dmitrievna decided to end the Sisyphean toll. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be quite a large glade with a few tree trunks laid in half circle with an improvised arbor, with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. That actually sounds pretty cool. Just hang out, a little bit of a bonfire in the middle of the woods, because only you can prevent forest fires. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga Dmitrievna lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but I couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their place on the fallen log benches and started talking about things. It seemed that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only things missing were a pot of soup fish, aluminum cups of vodka, and a guitar. But I didn't like soup fish, or fish soup. It said pot of fish soup. Yeah, not soup fish. What am I talking about? But I wouldn't be surprised if these would appear somehow. Well, I kind of half expect that if we're going to have that, Olga's going to send me to do it. Or grab it, or wherever it comes from. What are you thinking about? Slavia said next to me. Oh, nothing special. Just enjoying the hike, I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy. Sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I was in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. I feel like she was really nice to me early on, but I feel like we're growing more distant, me and Slavia. But then again, she's still nice. It's just I feel like we're more distant. But then again, that's also me. So, all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible. But I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing and in general enjoying this warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Alyssa intensely, and Lena seemed like complete opposites, or Intensely and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after a conversation, it seems. Electronic and Shirk were trying furiously to prove something to Olga Dmitrievna. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. Well, Chloe got to do this, right? Try to find out what Alyssa and Lena are arguing about. But, on the other hand, why should I care? All I was doing is just watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever, as well as running water. Oh man, if you like watching running water, you'll love watching paint dry. Or grass grow. But there was also a third thing there. What was that? One could watch 3 things forever. Burning fire, running water, and how other people work. What? Okay. I guess we're talking out loud to ourselves. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Semyon, don't you think that it's too early to relax? But what else would I need to do? I honestly couldn't get what Olga Dmitrievna wanted from me. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on it. After those words, I am completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave. Or at least, like I'm a free labor force, which, strictly speaking, is the same. So I'm like an indentured servant. I think that's, like, not slave, but basically. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. And didn't I choose to go over and talk to figure out what's going on? Totally thought I did, but it seems like we're not. So, Somebody patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shirk and Electronic, who sat next to me. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of the Cybernetics Club with Olga Dmitrievna. And there's a problem. We need more guys. If you could... He hesitated. Advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Olyana. I looked at him with surprise. It seemed that Shirk blames himself for the cake incident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavia anywhere. I think she is angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Olyana. Maybe I should apologize? No, it's not your fault. I sat silently for a while, and then I stood up and said, my legs are numb. I better take a walk. Oh, we're gonna get lost. They made no reply. And why did I really thought I did say go check out what's going on with Alyssa and Lena. Oh, really? Wait, did I really choose that? Oh well, I guess that's what happened. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close look of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga Dmitrievna couldn't wait to come up with some new task for me. Exactly. I haven't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should try to go and try to find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Olyana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. Go to Olyana? Really? I can go to her? I'm gonna try to find Slavia. I don't think I'm gonna walk all the way back. I feel like it's a bad idea walking back all the way alone. I was absolutely sure that Slavia was alright, so I decided to stay. I feel like that doesn't seem like the right follow-up to what I selected. I did select go find Slavia, right? I guess that's enough for me today. I sat in my previous place and waited for the end of the hike patiently, almost physically able to feel the looks of the camp leader aimed at me. Are the paths messed up? That doesn't seem like... Cause I swore I clicked on go see what Alyssa and Lena were arguing about, and it just kind of did this thing where, yeah, don't go and talk to them. And then I swore I clicked on go find Slavia, and it looks like it's giving me the, yeah, just remain seated. So let me actually go ahead and go back. And, oh, that's actually kind of cool. It actually told me that I selected that. Okay, so what happens if I hit remain seated? I guess that's enough for me today. Oh. Okay. So it only added the line, I guess Slavia would be fine, and then... But on the other hand, why should I care about that witch? I guess that's enough for me today. So it basically... Okay, so it doesn't matter what I choose, it basically gives me the same. Okay. Never mind. Wait. What am I doing? Yeah. Okay. There you go. So I originally went with that, so that's fine. We already did that. At last you stood up and declared. And now let's play cities. Isn't that like a Sims kind of game, cities or something like that? I can't remember. It's a PC game, I think. It might be on console too, or like something similar to that. I had nothing against the game itself, but it was obvious that the hike will take longer because of it. Pioneers sat around the fire. I noticed that Lena and Alyssa, who took their places on a trunk opposite of me. Okay, that's nice. It seems that everything is alright. And just a few minutes ago, I thought the opposite while looking at their quarrel. But anything is possible. I'd really like to know what they were talking about, but it's impossible now. It's impossible now, and I can feel tiredness growing in me more and more. Is this kind of like a line of setting me up? It's like, oh, you can go back and change it. I'm like, okay, whatever. My mind was completely blank. To be precise, my head was so heavy that there was no place in it for ideas to unfold. While in better times, my brain appeared to be a wide highway with millions of thoughts running by, chasing one another and causing major crashes. Now, it was more like a footpath lost in the woods, which is used rarely and only in exceptional cases. Slavia didn't come back. Uh-oh. Maybe she had something to do? Maybe she went to Liana to, comfort her, console her? But once again, there is no way to find out. Now. Yes, now. Okay, let's start. Start. Moscow. Pioneers started to name cities. Finally, it was my turn. I tried to listen closely to catch the first letter of the city I'll have to use. Arkangelos? I don't know what that city is, I don't know how to pronounce it. We played several rounds. Each new city made it harder to remember everything that was mentioned before. My attention was dissipating, and I was already lost in all these capitals, megalopolises, villages, and urban settlements. Semyon, it's your turn. Olga Dmitrovna brought me back to reality. Oh, excuse me, what was the last one? You're daydreaming again. It was Sevastopol. Okay, then I'll say London. Already used. Well then, it got me thinking. There were tons of cities in the world that started with L. It was hard to remember even one of them now. Liverpool? Already there. Los Angeles? Ah, finally. Wait, no one said Los Angeles? Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, they're Russian, so... Los Angeles probably isn't the first name they'll think of. She gave me a scornful look, but the game went on. I could hardly bear to think of another city beginning with L, but fortunately it was the last round. Okay, that's enough for today. It's already late, time to go back. I sighed with relief. On our way back, we walked as we liked, without joining in pairs. Okay. Did I walk with Lena? Night descended upon a camp. Okay, that article seems out of place. Or, not out of place, but a perfectly regular and normal night. It was one of those nights when dark skies, stars, and even a crescent moon don't cause any special feelings, and the chirping of crickets and the songs of the night birds seem more like routine work noises than a nocturnal chorus. Comrade, in a few minutes, all the pioneers were lining up in the square, and then we're gonna realize like Slavia is missing, and we're like, oh no, we gotta go find her, and crazy stuff happens after that. It was quite late already, and fatigue took its toll, so our lineup wasn't perfectly aligned. It looked to me like a line of Vikings after a successful battle, where the warriors are happy and smiling, anticipating their return to their families rather than thinking about maintaining correct formation. But someone else could possibly see a completely defeated troop or a bunch of survivors who had to march to their homeland with the last bit of their strength. Thanks, everyone, and now go to sleep. It's late already. Pioneers quickly ran their own ways, and I was left together with the camp leader. And we should go too. So Slavia is fine, peachy, no worries. We went in complete silence to Olga Dmitryevna's cabin. Okay, let's sleep. Get a nice slow fade, she said, turning off the lights. I was tossing and turning for quite a while, recalling all the events of the day. On the one hand, I was overcome with fatigue. On the other hand, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd forgotten something, done something wrong, said something wrong. And this feeling of incompleteness was tormenting me. It was about 2 a.m. All bad things would end sooner or later, or at least would take a break. It's the bad thing that I forgot that we don't, like Slavia's not there. I fell asleep. Day 6? Or do we have a nightmare first? Alright, day 6 first. I don't know what time it was when Olga Dmitrievna woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached. I felt dizzy. My mind was clouded by haze. Semyon, wake up immediately, or you'll miss breakfast, and more importantly, the lineup. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest today, the same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with the blanket, and turned to the wall. In the end, Olga Dmitrievna's anger will never go beyond words. At least I really wanted to believe so then. Stand up right now, or what? I was going to say triumphantly, but kept silent. Not because of fear, just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup, hang my photo on the wall of shame? Or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Rectal probe. Well, I'm ready for that too. Oh, okay. Just let me sleep for a couple hours. Okay, but you'll miss the lineup. Door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep, which had been about to fade, claimed my mind again. Oh, now nightmare time. Nope, just kidding. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m. according to my cell phone. I thought our cell phone was out of battery. And I thought we were talking about how there's no charger here. Which was squeezing the last drops, of charge out of its battery. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache. My head felt clearer, and all in all, it was a good beginning to the day. 1 p.m., yeah, that's a good start of the day. After waving my arms, pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cabin. Oh, damn, we missed lunch too. Sorry, I should really stop randomly having thoughts between sentences, or in the middle of sentences. I sprang out of the cabin and headed to the washstands. Yep, I slept through breakfast, but we'll be served lunch soon. Oh, it's a pretty late lunch, isn't it? Kind of. So I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. Damn, those are not bags under my eyes. Just kidding. Along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. Okay, so that's someone else? But I was going so fast, I couldn't really see him, and when I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. Okay, I don't know if that minor encounter is symbolic of something greater, but okay. There was nobody near the washstands. Everybody, or everyone, is probably busy with Olga Dmitrievna's task, and God knows what else. Tasks. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard a sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. Pioneer leaned against the washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like the one I saw a couple minutes ago. How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I looked up into the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer given the way he stood. The bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. The camp leader is angry today, so angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you know better, yeah. I try to remember if I've ever heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. Okay, so something is going on in that forest, I think. For a second, I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off as I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning with suspicious and burdensome speculations. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush treetops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat, and the woods and fields stretched beneath the horizon were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is now, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth, times of fun and leisure and carefree joy. Childhood games, how many were there? I wouldn't say no to playing war games or hide or seek now, or swinging on a bungee. Or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers ready to defend their master to the last drop of their plastic blood. Comrade. I went to the square and sat on the bench waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs or groups of 3. But always someone I didn't know. Alyssa, Alyana, Lena, or Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts of the meaningless existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. I just thought about it. Who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Certainly not me. I looked upon Genda. He was meditating, as always. Now he definitely never gets any unnecessary doubts. I remember my first hours in this camp and the day before, the anguish, the anxiety, and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Maybe I'm already dead. Then this is the last stop. Please get off the train. This dude. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw that pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again. The sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. It seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say you know who I am. Oh man, this is so weird. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. What? Here you don't? Oh, here you don't. Okay, I think I get it. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk. I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm this didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked a question, but his tone implied he was only expecting a confirmation. Yes, and you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say that I've visited this camp every year since my early childhood. Okay. Such an answer got me interested. Well, and what was it like before? It's always the same. Olga Dmitryevna being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups at the morning, and these wicked accidents. For a moment, I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every new, he hesitated, year, more and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. I'm having some sort of inclination that this might be some sort of kind of like Groundhog's Day thing, where I don't know. I don't I don't know if that makes sense or not, but because this is obviously supposed to be someone who is like kind of like me or like a reflection of me, like a personification of like some internal like whatever of me. And so I'm kind of feeling like maybe before we became like so antisocial and like a shut-in, maybe we actually were going to camp and doing all this stuff, and somehow we forgot about that. And then maybe this is like some sort of weird like loop that we're in, like something traumatic happened or whatever, and we're just kind of like reliving. Or I don't even know what I'm trying to describe or whatever. But I kind of feel like maybe he might be alluding to something about like being repeated year after year, and something about me, like coming back year after year. I'm just not remembering it. I don't know. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds me of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably. This is my first. It shows. The pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. Yeah, that kind of makes me feel like it's kind of like a repeat kind of thing. Or maybe, are we like all in purgatory or something? And it's like, we basically just repeat the same thing over and over again. And then new people come in every once in a while who like just recently died or something. I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say, there's no place like home. But you still have to get back there. Now I was absolutely sure this guy was hiding something from me. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinariness, and was far too different from the local inhabitants. Because he's me. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? I said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. I turned my head toward the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself, remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural, sometimes even boring. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that, and I just misunderstood him. Or maybe he's like the best troll ever. Thinking that, I went to the canteen, intending to feast. I missed the last word. Yes. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to crowds around the soup kitchen during a famine. Pioneers were running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through for the first meal and take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get me my assigned food rations. For today we had okhrashka, which I didn't really like, and cutlets with potatoes. And okhrashka is a traditional Russian cold soup. I feel like I'm a really picky eater, and that actually is kind of how I am in real life. I sat in the corner and mentally rejoiced that I would be able to eat in peace. My table was the farthest from the kitchen. I couldn't reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it, or would reach it last. However, when I moved on to the main course, Slavia Shurik and Electronic appeared from the crowd. I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calm. Even Electronic wasn't jabbering as he usually does. I finally finished the meal, sprawled in my chair, and satisfied, clicked my tongue. Love those sound effects, right, guys? Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. I suddenly realized that I don't really know how to describe him. Well, about my height, same constitution, kind of looks like me, is me, probably. Hard to say it from such a description. Slavia smiled. Well, we have half a camp of such guys, if it comes to that. All in all, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just that I met him today, and it seemed like I haven't seen him before. Look at the canteen. I don't think he'll miss lunch. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. I got up and started to slowly walk along the rows of tables. Lena and Zenya are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Alyssa and Olyana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga Dmitrievna, surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but that guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Or maybe maybe he already had lunch? I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like you would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. In the end, Olga Dmitrievna is unlikely to return anytime soon, at least I think so, and I will definitely have a couple hours to rest. Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside, and the wind was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. That was a great dream, man. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strange, there was nobody on the doorstep. Oh. It's a dude? I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look. Naked. Right. All the same, no one around. Oh man, I'm looking for apples. Are there any random apples here now? A dream, maybe? It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. Literally all I've done so far today was sleep, get woken up, and yelled at, went back to sleep, ate lunch, and went back to sleep, and now it's basically almost dinner time. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. Comrade, the sun had passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here in the south. I squinted and looked at up at the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me. And once again, his face was hard to see due to the bright light. I thought you said the sun was already kind of fading. For a moment, the sun blinded me, so I couldn't see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? Nope, I was just passing by, he answered calmly. Then you should know better. So you haven't seen anyone? Correct. And what's happening? Oh. I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry. He laughed. It's because he's a ghost. He doesn't eat things. I blinked a few times, and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on in here? Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I will have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I'm not mistaken, and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's so hot outside. Olga Dmitrievna was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me. Hey, Semyon, you are in the lineup, and in general, you are just lounging around all day. I did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning to become a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga Dmitrievna in the camp. Is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe. I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, you have plenty. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside, and Olga Dmitrievna rushed in its direction. Well, it looks like I will be spared a lecture. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Olyana approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you sitting here all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you're chatting with a weird person, and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. And she's gonna say, oh, you're weird too. Okay, it's not simple. I would just ask them. She laughed. Too simple. but he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Well, Yana did not answer. She just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something, but won't tell you? Make them. But how? For a bit longer, we sat together talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. The first place to visit was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty, as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. Alright, I think this is a good place to stop. We're starting to check out the old bus stop, the old entrance. Weird stuff is happening. That dude, not exactly sure what to make of him. But, you know, you guys were able to kind of hear my theories, my thoughts along the way. And so, yeah, I guess now we're actively seeking him out. Maybe, actually, I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to run into him, and then all of a sudden, when we're least expecting, you know, and not anticipating running into him, he'll just randomly show up and, like, you know, troll us some more. So yeah, that'll happen probably next time. So until then, thank you for watching. Bye.